The contracts were signed in maternity wards, usually before mothers were strong enough to stand. By the time Kaia had learned what her mother had signed, she could no longer love her. The representative came on the second day. Kaia's mother was still bleeding, still wearing a paper gown, still trying to calculate how many diapers they could buy before rent was due. The representative placed a tablet across her knees and called it Enhanced Developmental Support, Unrestrictional Emotional Access through Graduation, Guaranteed Childhood Stability, Priority Employment Pathways upon Maturity. The language changed near the bottom. Generated neural patterns would remain the intellectual property of the provider. Emotional access beyond maturity threshold would be leased back to the participant at graduated market rates. The representative never read that part aloud. He turned the tablet sideways and showed Kia's mother the signing bonus. It was enough for 3 months' rent. Your daughter will thank you one day. Kaia's mother signed with her thumb. The money arrived before the representative left the room. 18 years later, Kaia stood beneath the lights of an auditorium. 1,200 parents applauded. The air smelled like wet concrete, artificial flowers, and gowns that have been worn by too many graduating classes. Kaia held her diploma against her chest. Beside her, her best friend was crying. "We actually made it," she whispered. Kaia laughed and pulled her into a hug. The feeling came naturally. Pride, love, relief. 18 years of memory rushed between them. Shared lunches, failed exams, whispered jokes. The winter they walked 4 kilometers through snow because no one could afford transit. For that moment, Kaia loved her completely. Then, every implant in the auditorium chimed. One soft note, polite, almost delicate. The enormous screen behind the vice principal turned blue. Congratulations, graduates. Your subsidized developmental period is now complete. Kaia's friend was still holding her when the love disappeared. It didn't fade. It just stopped. Kaia remembered the girl's name. She remembered where they had met. She remembered every secret they ever shared. But the memories had become just information. Her arms loosened. Her friend stepped back. They stared at one another with the embarrassed recognition of strangers who had accidentally embraced. Another message opened behind Kaia's left eye. Emotional suite deactivated. Default adult mode engaged. Fear level 3. Obedience baseline. Productivity support active. Compliance governor active. Would you like to renew? First 24 hours are half off. Around the auditorium, the applause began to fracture. Some graduates screamed. Others called for their parents. One young man dropped to his knees and kept repeating his sister's name, as if saying it enough times might force him to care about her again. Others remained untouched. A girl in the front row continued laughing through her tears. A gold light blinked briefly at her temple. Premium continuity confirmed. Her parents had renewed before the ceremony. Kaia searched the audience. Her mother stood in the third row, clasping with both hands over her mouth. Tears ran down her face. She was still smiling. Kaia knew that woman had raised her. She knew the sound of her footsteps in the hallway. She knew how she took her coffee. She remembered falling asleep against her chest during thunderstorms. But the thread connecting those facts had been cut. Her mother was just a woman who knew everything about her. The vice principal waited for the noise to settle. His smile never changed. Transition discomfort is completely normal, he said. Emotional continuity packages are available through the graduate portal. Remember, your future remains your choice. The security officers moved along the aisles. The screaming became quieter. Kaia's fear remained. Not enough to make her run, just enough to make her cooperate. The system had left that part free. Outside, rain hammered the campus. Billboards illuminated the graduating crowd. Love is essential. Maintain the relationships that matter. Courage booster. Start your career with confidence. Curiosity plus. Be more than your position. Underneath every advertisement in small gray letters, you may opt out at any time. Her mother found her beneath the awning. Kaia. She wrapped both arms around her. Kaia stood still. Her mother pulled away slowly. You don't feel anything? It was not a question. What did you do to me? Her mother looked toward the billboards. Not here. They rode home without speaking. At the apartment, her mother removed an old tablet from beneath the kitchen sink. It was wrapped in plastic behind cleaning supplies. The original contract appeared when Kaia touched the screen. Her name was there. Her birth weight, the hospital, the time of the delivery. At the bottom was her mother's thumbprint. Kaia scrolled. She read the words neural ownership. She read maturity threshold. She read post-development access rates. And then she found the payment history. Her childhood had not been free. The corporation had harvested every emotional response she ever produced. First steps, birthdays, nightmares, grief, fear recovery. They had mapped her completely. In exchange, they had allowed her full access of herself until graduation. You sold me. I was trying to keep you fed, her mother said. You sold something I haven't even grown into yet. I didn't understand it. You hid the contract under the sink. Her mother's mouth trembled. They started sending reminders when you turned 16. Kaia looked up. You knew? I knew support ended. I didn't know it would feel like this. You could have warned me, Kaia said. What was I supposed to say? What was I supposed to say? That every good thing you ever felt had an expiration date? Yes, replied Kaia. You had 2 years left. I wanted you to enjoy them, said her mother. Kaia searched for anger. Nothing came. She searched for betrayal. Even hatred was behind a paywall. Her mother looked down at her own tablet. I saved a little. A notification opened up behind Kaia's eye. Family attachment transitional access. 60 seconds. Purchased by authorized guardian. The feeling crashed into her. Kaia grasped. The love returned so violently that her knees weakened. She saw her mother as she had this morning. Tired, frightened, human. She remembered soup carried to her bed when she was sick, hands braiding her hair before school, her mother skipping meals and pretending she had already eaten. Kaia threw her arms around her. Her mother held on. A timer appeared in the corner of Kaia's vision. 43 seconds. "I'm so sorry," her mother whispered. 31 seconds. "I thought I was giving you a better life." 19 seconds. Kaia tightened her grip. "Please don't let it take you again." 8 seconds. Her mother began to sob. 3 seconds. "I gave you 18 good years." The timer reached 0. Kaia's arms went cold around her. The love disappeared. Her mother was crying against the shoulder of someone who no longer cared. Then something tore behind Kaia's left eye. A spark. Hot. Ugly. It was real. The contract tablet struck the kitchen wall before Kaia could realize she had thrown it. Glass exploded across the floor. Her mother jumped back. Kaia stared at her shaking hands. She could feel it. She could feel it. Rage. Not purchased. Not approved. It was hers. The implant shrieked. Pain drove Kaia to her knees. Unauthorized emotional activity detected. Compliance governor failure. Do not attempt to reproduce this sensation. Her mother reached for her. Kaia knocked the hand away. For one beautiful second she hated her mother. Then the rage vanished. A final message appeared. Remote correction requested. A service officer has been dispatched to your location. Estimated arrival, 4 minutes. Her mother stared at the apartment door. What happens during a correction? Kaia looked at the shattered contract, at the glass, at the thin line of blood running across her palm. She felt nothing now. She remembered the rage. That was enough. Kaia ran. Kaia made it 3 blocks before the implant started correcting her. The first pulse locked her right knee. She hit the pavement hard enough to split her lip. Correction subject has left the designated area. Remain still. Assistance is approaching. She forced herself upright. Rain ran into her eyes. Behind her, a white service vehicle turned onto the street, without lights or sirens. It didn't need them. The crowd moved aside. Kaia ran into an alley behind a ration depot. The second pulse reached for both legs. A hand caught her coat and dragged her between 2 dumpsters. She felt something cold press against her temple. Her implant went silent. Kaia swung blindly. The stranger caught her wrist. "Easy," he said. He was thin, perhaps 30, scar running from his left temple to his jaw. Tiny blue lights flickered beneath his damaged skin. The service vehicle passed the alley. Its rear doors had no handles. The stranger released her. They'll notice the blind spot in about 90 seconds. "What did you do?" Kaia asked. "I made your implant look like it's lying in your mother's kitchen." He held up a small black device. "You're welcome." Kaia wiped the blood from her mouth. "Can you turn it back on?" He laughed once. "Most people ask me to shut it off." "My emotions," she said. His smile disappeared. "I want them back," Kaia said. "You and everybody else." He started deeper into the alley. Kaia followed. "My name's Kaia. I know. Your correction order is screaming it across every maintenance channel in the district." He looked back. "My name's Jax." The poor sector market operated beneath an abandoned transit station. Vendors crouched beneath plastic sheets. Rain poured through the cracks in the ceiling. Handwritten signs glowed in the dark. Courage 20 minutes. Intimacy without attachment. Grief suppression. Childhood joy. Authentic pattern. People sat against the tiled walls with wires behind their ears. One man laughed uncontrollably, while a vendor counted down the seconds remaining on his joy packet. Nearby, a woman held a photograph of a child and stared at it without expression. Fresh graduate, one vendor called over to Kaia. First love hit is free. Jax kept walking. Nothing is free down here either. He led her to an old maintenance room and locked the door. Computer parts covered the floor. Hundreds of stolen emotional profiles moved across the screens. Fear spikes, attachment maps, withdraw projections. Kaia saw her own name. Beneath it, maturity conversion, 94.7%. What's that mean, she said. It means they knew you'd subscribe. I haven't. You will, Jax said as he opened a metal case. Small glass vials rested inside, each containing blue liquid. They let children feel everything because childhood trains the pathways. Love your mother every day for 18 years and the absence becomes pain. Give a kid courage, curiosity, joy, and then take it away when they become employable. He tapped her profile. They didn't sell your mother happiness. They sold you the memory of having it. Kaia looked at the vials. I only need one thing. You don't get to choose your first time, Jax said. I want to feel something for my mother. That's how it starts. Can you do it? Asked Kaia. Jax pressed a vial to the scar behind her ear. 5 minutes, full spectrum. Why everything? She asked. He said because your implant already rejected one authorized feeling. Selective code won't get past it. He hesitated. When the stabilizer returns, the hole will feel deeper. Kaia nodded. Jax broke the seal. The world opened. Rain striking the roof became music. The filthy room filled with color. Fear and grief, wonder and rage tore through her all at the same time. Then love returned. Her mother's face rose inside her, not as information, but as the center of 18 years. Kaia grabbed her phone. Her mother always answered before the first ring finished. Kaia? I love you. A sob came through the speaker. Where are you? I know you were scared, and I know you thought you were helping me. I can fix this, her mother said. Please come home. A timer appeared. 46 seconds. No, you can't. Tell me where you are, her mother said. 31 seconds. They're going to take this again. Kaia, I need you to know it was real. 12 seconds. What was? All of it, her mother said. The timer reached 0. Kaia stared at the phone. A woman was crying through it. Come home, her mother begged. Kaia ended the call. Emptiness returned larger than before. Now it had edges, and she knew exactly what belonged inside of it. Jax watched her fold forward in the chair. That's the lock, he said. They don't have to force us to pay. They only have to remind us. How do you live like this? Kaia asked. I don't, said Jax. He opened a small silver packet labeled affection. My hacks damage the governor. Rage leaks through constantly. Love doesn't. For who? Kaia asked. Jax looked toward the photograph beside the monitors. A little boy sat on his shoulders. Both of them were laughing. "My brother," Jax replied. He slid the packet back into his coat. "I save it for his birthday." Someone knocked 3 times. Jax opened the door for a middle-aged woman with gray hair and a corporate uniform. "This is Mina." Mina placed a stolen access badge on the table. Kaia recognized the company logo. "You work for them?" Kaia asked. "Worked," replied Mina. She removed the vial from her pocket and injected it beneath her tongue. The shaking in her hand stopped. Guilt relief flashed across its label. "I signed my daughter's contract," she said. "The company offered me a supervisor position if I enrolled her in the expanded program." Kaia looked away. "What happened to her?" she asked. "Graduation," said Mina. Nothing else needed to be said. Mina had been buying relief ever since. Jax brought up a map of the district. A tower blinked beneath the regional employment center. "The paywalls don't live in our implants," Jax said. "They live here. Every purchase, every restriction, every compliance command passes through the regional node." "You can shut it down?" Kaia asked. "I can open every emotional pathway connected to it." "For how long?" "If I access it from outside, minutes. If someone carries the code into the core, it may become part of the repair system. Every implant receives it as an authorized correction." Kaia understood why they had helped her. "My correction order." "Your implant is waiting for instructions from that node," Jax said. "It'll carry us through the front door." "And after?" asked Kaia. "The code burns the ownership locks. No subscriptions, no governor, nothing between people in their own minds." Mina stared at the map. "No stabilizers either." "You can't free only the safe feelings," Jax said. "That's how they justified the cage to begin with. People could hurt themselves." "People already do," Mina said. "They could hurt each other," said Kaia. "They already do that too," said Jax. Kaia thought of the market. People renting courage to survive work. Mothers purchasing enough guilt relief to sleep. Jax saving love for one day each year. "What happens when the feelings return all at once?" Kaia asked. Jax didn't answer immediately. "They'll adjust." "You don't know that," said Kaia. "No." Kaia looked at her mother's name on the phone. She could buy another minute. The button was waiting. Family attachment, $4.99. The price had increased since her mother's purchase. She understood then. The first dose had not only reminded her, it raised her rate. "How many people are connected to the node?" "In this area, 23,000, Jax said. Mina leaned over the table. "We should test it first." That night they connected Jax's code to a residential relay beneath the market. Only one billing. Only 60 seconds. Kaia carried the correction signal. The relay accepted her immediately. Authorized maintenance subject detected. Jax loaded the packet. Every light in the building went out. Then came the sounds. Laughter. A child screaming. Someone playing piano behind an open window. On one floor, an old man grabbed his wife and kissed her with the desperation of someone returning from the dead. Another man punched through a glass door. A woman collapsed in the stairwell, overwhelmed by grief she had postponed for 20 years. At the end of the block, someone climbed onto a window ledge. Kaia ran toward him. The 60 seconds expired. The man stopped. He stepped down without knowing why he'd been there. Across the building, all the laughter died. The old man released his wife. The pianist's hands felt still. Every implant received the same message. Unauthorized emotional event resolved. For several seconds, the building was completely silent. Then purchase notifications began chiming behind hundreds of windows. Jack stared upward. They remembered. Kaia watched the old man through the glass. He was already entering his payment information. "They're buying," Kaia said, "because 60 seconds isn't freedom." Jax disconnected the relay. Tomorrow night, it's not going to end. The regional node stood beneath the employment center, guarded by drones and service officers. Mina's stolen badge would open the first checkpoint. Jax would carry the virus. Kaia would carry them into the core. She looked once more at the woman in the stairwell, now staring at nothing. Then the window ledge. Fear level 3 pressed softly against Kaia's chest, urging her to go home, report correction, and accept whatever remained of her life. Beneath it, something flickered. The rage had returned. Small, unauthorized, but enough. Kaia held out her hand. Jax placed the master chip in her palm. The moment it touched her skin, her implant opened a direct repair channel. Remote correction available. Proceed to the regional node immediately. A route illuminated behind her eyes. For once, Kaia obeyed. The regional node welcomed Kaia home. Authorized maintenance subject detected. The employment center was closed, but its doors unlocked as she approached. Kaia entered first. Mina walked behind them, one hand pressed against her guilt relief vial in her pocket. The first checkpoint scanned Kaia's implant. Correction priority confirmed. Escort personnel authorized. 3 green lights appeared. The security gate opened. They descended beneath the building. With every floor, the walls became cleaner. Advertisements disappeared. Carpet became white tile. White tile became polished steel. By the time they had reached the node, there was nothing left except machinery. The core hung inside of a glass chamber. Thousands of blue cables rose from it like veins carrying fear, obedience, and pleasure across the district. 23,000 people were connected. 23,000 private lives passing through a machine that belonged to someone else. Once this starts, the nodes will try to isolate us. "How long do you need?" Kaia asked. 3 minutes, Jax replied. Mina stopped walking. Behind them, the elevator doors closed. The floor indicator began descending again. Somebody else was coming. Jax looked at Mina. "You used the badge, right?" Mina could not meet his eyes. A message glowed faintly behind her left eye. Lifetime guilt relief approved. "Who did you call?" Kaia asked. Mina began to cry. "I just couldn't keep feeling it." "So you sold us?" Jack said. "I sold one daughter," she whispered. "Then I woke up every morning and did it again." Elevator past the 6th floor sublevel. Jax grabbed Mina's access badge. She didn't resist. They promised I'd never have to remember her. The drug entered her system. The tears stopped. Her face softened. For the first time since Kaia had met her, Mina looked peaceful. "I'm sorry," Kaia said. Mina looked at her without guilt. "For what?" The elevator reached their floor. Jack shoved the chip into Kaia's hand. "Get inside." The glass chamber recognized her correction order and opened. Jax locked the door behind her. Service officers poured in from the elevator. Their faces were hidden behind white visors. 3 minutes, Jack shouted. Kaia drove the chip into the core. Pain split her skull. The machine entered her through the implant. She felt 23,000 lives at once. A factory worker purchasing enough courage to enter a burning machine room. A husband renting affection for his anniversary. A child still inside the free period, loving without knowing why. Kaia found the ownership locks wrapped around them. The virus began to cut. Outside the chamber, pulse fire struck the walls. Jack returned fire with a stolen service weapon. 2 minutes and 41 seconds left. The first lock opened. A wave of laughter moved through the city. 2 minutes and 17 seconds left. The second lock opened. Fear level 3 disappeared. People walked away from assembly lines. Drivers abandoned delivery vehicles. A woman struck the supervisor who had rented her obedience for 12 years. 1 minute and 38 seconds left. A pulse hit Jack in the chest. He fell against the glass. Kaia screamed his name. The sound came from somewhere real. Unauthorized grief flooded her implant. Jax reached inside of his coat and removed the silver packet he had saved for his brother's birthday. Affection. He broke the seal against his neck. For a moment, the pain left his face. Perhaps he saw his brother. Perhaps he only remembered how it felt to love him. Jack smiled. The officers fired again. 54 seconds left. He slid to the floor. Kaia pressed both hands against the core. The machine warned her. Compliance governor failure imminent. Catastrophic outcomes projected. Abort. Through the network, Kaia saw the man stepping down from the window ledge during their test. She saw the woman collapsing beneath 20 years of grief. Jax had said people would adjust. He had not known. Neither did she. 31 seconds left. Outside, an officer raised his hand toward the glass. Kaia selected continue. The final lock broke. The city woke screaming. Joy returned first, then love, then everything buried beneath them. Apartment doors opened. Strangers embraced in the rain. Parents had called children they had trained themselves not to miss. Workers laughed as production lines stopped around them. The old man from the test found his wife. This time there was no timer. Kaia's mother called. Kaia answered. Love returned with such force she could barely breathe. Mom, Kaia said. Kaia, what's happening? I gave it back. Across the network, a teenager looked up from an overnight shift and noticed the stars. A father felt the grief of his son's death for the first time in 11 years. For several minutes, the city belonged to the people inside of it. Then the buried suffering arrived. Rage-filled homes where obedience had concealed violence. Grief moved through hospitals. Despair entered thousands of minds without filters. Some people attacked one another. Some ran. Some climbed. Kaia felt each governor fail. No, she whispered. She reached for the code. There was nothing left to stop. The virus was already everywhere. Her mother was still on the phone. What did you do? The core went dark. Every billboard in the district shut off. Every implant felt silent. For one impossible moment, there was no corporation between anyone and themselves. The emergency network activated. The second system rose beneath the first, off-site, untouched. The core rebooted. Emotional stability restored. One by one, the city disappeared from Kaia's mind. Love for her mother vanished in the middle of a breath. Kaia? She ended the call. Outside the chamber, the officers had lowered their weapons. They no longer needed to stop her. The attack was over. Morning reveals what the darkness had hidden. Bodies beneath emergency blankets, broken windows, blood washed along the gutters by the rain. The living sat beside the dead, emptied again, remembering exactly what had been taken from them. At noon, every implant chimed. You recently experienced complimentary full-spectrum access. Would you like to continue the feeling? First 24 hours are half off. Across the district, people reached for the payment screens. The old man purchased love. The teenager purchased curiosity. The grieving father purchased relief. Those without money received another offer. Priority employment pathways available. Emotional access may be earned through approved labor. Kaia watched the purchase numbers climb across the repaired core. 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. Every feeling released during the breach had been recorded. Every reunion, every act of violence, every death. The corporation now knew which emotion each person missed the most, and exactly what they would pay to get it back. The billboards returned. Footage from the night played across the city, streaming citizens burning apartments and bodies on rooftops. A new slogan appeared beneath it. Freedom is what happens when we stop protecting you. The corporation announced enhanced mental health protections by evening. Mandatory governors, high stabilizer settings, expanded parental enrollment. Applications opened the following morning. They used the deaths to frighten the parents. They used the freedom to sell their children. Kaia waited for the ember of rage behind her eye. Nothing came. The emergency patch had found the defect and sealed it. A message appeared. She had not given them their childhoods back. She had given them a second free trial. In this time, the corporation had made sure they understood the cost of letting it end. System expansion complete. New subscriptions, 18,492. The final notification opened behind Kaia's eye. Thank you for helping us improve. If you listen this far, throw me a like, subscribe, share. It means the world. Thank you for listening. Sleep tight, or don't. From dusk till dawn.